Kia ora. I'm here today to discuss the launch of my campaign to become an office bearer in the organisation of active micronations. So I'm going to outline some of my policies. Forgive me, I do also have a cold. First of all, I'd like to point out my policy on these condemnations. They've got to stop. We just seem to be condemning every second micronation, just about. There has to be a better way to show our displeasure with somebody rather than just another bloody condemnation motion. I'm thinking perhaps we could the council could develop a better strategy in dealing with errant and other annoying micronation. I also believe in a delegate's freedom of speech, no matter how controversial the things that they're saying are, unless, of course, they are actually discriminating against another person because of their sexual orientation, disability, religion, race, or gender. Then that's not on. The delegates should also be bound by something like parliamentary manners, which means that they basically do have to behave themselves and act in a civilised kind of way. But I also believe that the delegates should have a system that allows them to have something kind of like parliamentary privilege when addressing the council. Therefore, their views in that cannot be held against them. So yes, it's time for the OAM to see some change. So in this election, we should be firing up the Quattro and heading out towards change. I would also like to see greater cooperation between other intermicronational organisations like the LOS and the Micronational Economic Community, and I think that we should also send delegates, one delegate to each of these organisations, if they'll allow it, and if the council, of course, allows it. The secretary, or secretariat, however you pronounce it, also has been amassing too much power of late, and although Philip Fish has been a good Secretary General, I think that if we do end up with the current system and a really bad Secretary General, micronations could see their the council could see their decisions in that cast aside. I think the supreme authority must rest with the council. It's the Secretary General's job to guide and lead, not act like a supreme soviet towards the council. The council should be a Bundestag, not a Volkskammer, and therefore the power should be back in the hands of the delegates in the council chamber, not in the hands of the Secretariat. I also believe that we should be cracking down on those delegates and their micronations who are not active and without an excuse. Pretty much we should get rid of them if they are not contributing to the OAM at all. Because it's the organisation of active micronations, not the organisation of micronations. We must emphasise on the active part. That also leads me on to the point of these projects, which seem to be going nowhere. If I was elected, I would ensure, with the council's permission, that we have a deadline for when they must come in complete, and also bi-weekly reports on their activities. That way the council can get a better idea on how these projects are progressing along, and whether or not we can them, or keep them, or kick the people responsible up the rear end to get it to move along. I also would like to say that in regards to the education, I think we definitely should nurture and look after the newer micronations. By nurturing them and providing them with a positive and friendly environment, they can grow and become great along with the rest of the community, rather than all this Atlantis Civil War, saber rattling bullcrap that's going on at the moment. So yes, the education program thingy is of great importance, and I, if elected, will ensure that that succeeds. And speaking of the Atlantis Civil War and other micronational conflicts, I think the OAM should play a neutral force in regards to these, and try and help with peacekeeping if it's needed. Otherwise, the OAM pretty much should steer clear of these kind of conflicts. At the moment, there's also a lot of red tape and agencies and offices that are in the OAM, which is kind of hindering our work. So I, if elected, would endeavour to streamline the processes and that, so that it's more efficient, but the delegates still get their say. Because the most important thing is the delegates getting their say. I would also have every secretary and the entire secretariat and the organisations make either monthly or bi-weekly reports on their activity, so as to make sure that everything is going well. I also would have projects which advertise and put out the good name of the OAM, so that we can get more delegates into the council, therefore making it a diverser and hopefully more friendly council, which means which only means better things for the OAM. I would also like to say that to those that would like the OAM to become like a giant UN style thing for the micronational community, no, that's not the thing that we should be doing. We should be taking the good points from organisations like the UN, the EU, and APEC, and adding them to our organisation, to make the actual organisation itself a much fairer, a much better organisation. And therefore, I think we should also place a greater emphasis on diplomacy rather than warring and condemning and whatnot. This isn't my full platform, as some of you may know, and I, over the coming days, will fully launch my new platform. But I would like to say I would put a greater emphasis on the council's powers rather than the secretary, and more diplomacy, less condemning and war. A streamlined OAM that works for the delegates, by the delegates. Cooperation with all inter-micronational organisations, regardless of whether they're YAMOs or whatnot, because the more we cooperate, the better it is for our community as a whole. So, it's time to fire up the Quattro and hand out someone's change. So if you vote for the blind man, you will see a better OAM. So yeah, vote Fowler. I would also like to apologise to those that I said, to those citizens of mine who I said I would be launching Radio Zealandia 1 today. I bet you they weren't expecting a campaign launch kind of like thing, so sorry about that. Yeah. Alright,